Good afternoon. What's going on? Hope y'all having a great day today. I want to get more in depth about Sodom and Gomorrah and why the country we live in is actually Sodom and Gomorrah, slash Rome. As we know, Rome fell as well. So Sodom and Gomorrah were actually made up of five cities. You had Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, Zeboim, and Bela. All right, so out of all those five, four of them were destroyed. Bela was the only one that was uh, given leniency and mercy, uh, during the destructive nature that God put upon Sodom and Gomorrah. And so the sins of Sodom and Gomorrah were adultery, pridefulness, and when you think of pridefulness, you think of boastfulness and arrogance. All right, so those are boast. It was full of boastful and arrogant people, as well as uncharitableness and homosexuality. And so you had people basically not helping one another out, very stingy, greed, which is a part of uncharitableness. As you see nowadays, all those represent or have some similarities with America, as in many other places in the world that can be spoken about when speaking about Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And so, with that being said, the seventh thing the Lord hates. So we're gonna go to Proverbs 6:16, and we're gonna read. Six things doeth the Lord hate, yea, seven are an abomination unto him. A proud look, like I said, with Sodom and Gomorrah. You have boastfulness, arrogance, you have pride. You know what I'm saying? Very, very prideful people stuck their nose up at people like they were better than others. All right? A lying tongue and hands that shed innocent blood and heart that was devised wicked images. Basically, it was a heart that, a evil, wicked heart schemed, plotted against people. Those such things that God hated. And so on top of that, you had feet that be swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he soweth discord among brethren. Basically, false allegations, slandering. You also had, which is also the defiling of character, right? So you're going around bearing false witness and bringing about false allegations of others. Basically, you're torturing and committing slanderous and just a bunch of blasphemy. And blasphemy, which is one of the three unforgivable sins, along with apostasy, which basically is you have it. It's like denouncing or a renunciation of faith. So you basically willingly say, "Hey, faith isn't for me. I'm letting it go. That's just not a part of me. That's not who I am." Right? And then on top of that, you have receiving the mark of the beast. Like, it's not too much we need to speak on that. That's kind of that's kind of that's kind of something self-explanatory. We kind of know what that is nowadays, and you know, no judgment. If you want to take it, you want to take it. But I'm gonna read on a little of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? So the sins of Sodom and Gomorrah as adultery, pridefulness, and uncharitableness. The vast majority of exegesis, which exegesis, excuse me, that means like somebody who critiques or goes through thoroughly in detail about a certain topic or subject. All right, so they really break things down when it comes to certain topics or subjects about the Bible or other books, whatever they are good at. So, all right, related to the stories of Sodom and Gomorrah, view it as an explanative condemnation of homosexuality. Um, we're gonna go from here. Other extra biblical crimes committed by Sodom and Gomorrah include extortion. Okay, on crossing a bridge or swimming a river, harshly punishing victims for crimes that the perpetrator committed, forcing an assault victim to pay for the perpetrator's bleeding, and forcing a woman to marry a man who intentionally caused her miscarriage to compensate for the lost child. Because of this, the judges of the two cities were referred to as Shakrai, liar, Shakuri, awful liar, and Zayafi, forger, and Mazel Dina, perverter of justice. Excelor was reported to be a victim of such legally unjust conduct after Sarah sent him to Sodom to report on Lot's welfare. If you don't know about Sarah, Sarah was Abraham's wife, and Lot was the nephew of Abraham. Lot had two daughters. This is what I talked about yesterday, pertaining to the two angels that Lot took in, and basically they went to Sodom and Gomorrah, and they were trying to sodomize the two angel men. All right, and so Sarah sent him to Sodom to report on Lot's welfare. The citizens also regularly tortured foreigners who sought lodging. All right, so you have two things right there. You have extortion. It's a lot of extortion in America, a bunch of extortion, a crazy amount of extortion. You have torturing. They torture the citizens. You have things going on such as gang stalking, organized mobbing. You have COINTELPRO, who basically, you speak out against too much, they're gonna kill you. Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, MLK, all those people is just the facts and the truth is just right there in your face. You just gotta read. The citizens also regularly tortured foreigners who sought lodging. They did this by providing the foreigners a standard-sized beds, and if they saw the foreigners were too short for the beds, they would forcibly stretch their limbs. But the foreigners, if the foreigners were too tall, they would cut off the legs. As a result, many people refrained from visiting Sodom and Gomorrah. Beggars who settled in the two cities for refuge were similarly mistreated. The citizens would give them marked coins, presumably used to purchase food, but were nonetheless forbidden by proclamation to provide these necessary services. Once the beggar died of starvation, citizens who initially gave the beggar the coins were permitted to retrieve them, provided that they could recognize it. The beggar's clothing was also provided as a reward for any citizen who could successfully overcome his opponent in a street fight. All right, so you had a lot of just different stuff going on. I'm gonna continue reading, and I'm gonna make a part two to this also. I just want y'all to really understand and get the Sodom and Gomorrah story understood. All right.